Hi, everyone. Welcome to the March 2022 edition of Pitch Perfect. Very excited to have you all here with us today. So ahead of just getting started there, wanted to run through quick kind of forward-looking statements. So just be mindful of the fact that this presentation may contain forward-looking information. There can be no assurance that forward-looking information will prove to be accurate, as actual results in future events could differ materially from those anticipated in the statement. So accordingly, viewers should not place undue reliance on forward-looking information. To close things off for today, I'd like to introduce Julian of CMI MIC to talk about investing in a diversified MIC portfolio with a target yield of 8 to 9%. So Julian, look forward to hearing the pitch.
Okay, great. So again, thank you, Trieste, and thank you to all the presenters. Some fantastic presentations before myself. And thank you to all the participants watching us here today. So I will be talking to you about the CMI Balanced Mortgage Fund. So a little bit about myself. I am the Vice President of Capital Markets and Funds for CMI. CMI, or Canadian Mortgages Inc., was founded in 2005 as a family-owned mortgage brokerage. So traditionally, the business started as if a borrower needed to find a mortgage, we would place your financing needs with several lenders that we had relationships with. Throughout doing that business for a number of years, we slowly transitioned into the private lending space, which CMI as a business, we are only or exclusively a private lender today. And what that means is, so there's basically three different tiers of the mortgage debt space in Canada. There's the A space, which is the major banks, TD, CIBC, and the other participants. There's the B space, which is the Home Trust or Equitable Banks of the world and several other lenders, and the C space, which is the private, so pure private or alternative lending space. And we typically deal with borrowers that for whatever reason are not being approved at either the A or B space. So individuals that might have bruised credit or new to Canada, no credit, self-employed individuals, difficult to verify income, all those sorts of odd scenarios that allow the borrowers or don't allow the borrowers to get approved at the traditional institution. So they come to a lender like us. We provide them their financing needs. So we are a residential lender providing both first, second, and sometimes third mortgages to these individuals. And all of these mortgages are in shorter duration. So these are not 25-year amortized mortgages. Typically, the mortgages are 12 months in length, which with a shorter duration asset means our portfolio can rebalance itself quite quickly within a year. Just for argument's sake, roughly 25% of the portfolio would mature in the first quarter, right? So there is a lot of it allows the ability for the fund to move with the market. A little bit more about CMI. CMI today has completed more than $1 billion in private mortgages, making us one of, if not the largest private residential lender in the country. Currently, our assets under management exceed $130 million, and mortgages under administration exceed $450 million. So the fund, just as a high level, the Balanced Mortgage Fund is a mix of both first and second mortgages to a weighted loan to value that cannot exceed 75%. And that's an important number to consider, because that means every single property that we are lending to has equity, right? So all of the properties are appraised by a third-party accredited appraisal company at the time of lending. We also do our due diligence on each and every borrower, and our average beacon score, although this is the private space or the alternative lending space, our average beacon score of our borrower pool is around 600%. Sorry, 600 points, not 600%. Yeah. So investment process. So CMI and the way we originate mortgages. So the deal would come in. We have, I think at this point, 8 specific underwriters that take a look at the mortgage opportunity. They do all their due diligence on the borrower, on the property, and then that mortgage opportunity gets passed on to our credit committee, and ultimately they would make a decision on whether or not the mortgage is going to be included into the pool. Right? And just some high-level overview of what the fund is today. Currently, we're close to $90 million in assets under management for the Balanced Mortgage Fund. Now, what that means to the investor is our minimum investment for this opportunity is $5,000. So with $5,000, you are buying preferred Class A shares, which entitle you to the monthly dividend that the corporation pays. And those shares expose your portfolio to a pool of mortgages that is worth roughly $90 million. So the diversification aspect of the opportunity is something I really like to highlight when speaking with potential new investors. The net annual yield of the Balanced Fund is targeted to be 8 to 9%, and the current yield is 8.37. So that's pretty much all I had for you today, just a high-level overview of CMI, the company, and the opportunity. And I encourage any questions that you have to please visit our campaign page. Thanks again.
Wonderful. Great presentation there, Julian. Very interesting to learn more about what you guys do. Obviously, it's a bit of a different offering from some of the other companies that we saw on the platform today. So perhaps for those who are a little bit less familiar with mortgage investment corporations, what makes them a good addition to someone's portfolio?
Sure. So, I mean, in this current investment landscape, it is increasingly becoming difficult to find yield. The traditional areas on where to find yield, like the bond markets, the corporate bond markets and stuff like that, because interest rates have been so low for a number of years, delivering yield or obtaining yield the traditional way is becoming more difficult. So MICs, and not just ourselves, just MICs in general, have become one of the replacements or alternatives to obtaining that yield. So it is a yield product. It does pay monthly distributions. So for investors looking for a higher than average yield, or something that the banks don't offer, for example, this could be an opportunity for the investor to obtain that.
That's great. Absolutely. And I am mindful of the fact that we've just come to the top of the hour there, but if there are any final questions to come through, please do include them on the Q&A, or do recommend that you go to the campaign page for CMI to ask them any questions directly. But before we kind of wrap things up today, Julian, just kind of as with everyone else that we've talked to today, perhaps you could tell us, just for those tuning in today, obviously it's a yield investment. You've got a bit of a higher minimum investment there. What can you tell those tuning in as to why they should invest in CMI?
Sure. I mean, as with any investment, one of the most important factors is the manager. So manager's track record, what they've done, where they're going, and CMI having the growth that we have had, being one of the largest private residential lenders in the country. For the last 24 months, we've been on the Globe and Mail's fastest 500 growth companies. So there's manager track record is certainly there. And the company and the infrastructure and the executive team that CMI has built out is quite unique in the MIC space. So I think that's the important thing that I highlight for CMI specifically.
That's great. You guys have a fantastic team, great track record, great traction, as you said. So really appreciate you joining us today to tell us a little bit more about CMI and the investment opportunity there. So thanks to everyone who has joined us. Just as we're closing things up today, just wanted to finish for anyone new who's not as familiar with FrontFundr and what we do, just introduce ourselves in being Canada's leading equity crowdfunding platform. We make it easy for all Canadians to invest in exciting startups and growth stage businesses, just as the 5 that you saw here today. And if you have any questions about getting started on FrontFundr, definitely recommend that you visit our website to learn more and reach out to our support team at any time. If you have questions, they're able to assist you through the investment process and to answer any questions that you may have about the investment opportunity as well. So to all the attendees who joined us today, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time. We hope you join us again for the April edition of Pitch Perfect. And to all of our panelists today, thank you so much for your time, for telling us more about your businesses. It's so great to hear the mission and visions of what you do. You guys all have very admirable goals and are creating, very positive change. So really appreciate that. Thank you so much to everyone, and hope to see you all again soon.